You probably own one, and you almost certainly don't think about it. You grab it by the door, open it when it starts raining, and forget about it 5 minutes after you're back inside. In 18th century England, that same ordinary object could get a man mocked in public, simply for carrying it through the street. This is the history of the umbrella, an object that spent centuries carrying meanings of rank, gender, religion, and public shame, long before it became something you barely register in your hand. The earliest umbrellas weren't built for rain at all. They were built for status. Across several ancient civilizations, a canopy carried above someone's head, usually by a servant, not the person underneath it, signaled power. Ancient China developed some of the most sophisticated early versions: elaborate frames, tilting mechanisms, canopies colored to reflect specific ranks of nobility. One enduring legend credits a craftsman named Lu Ban, inspired by children sheltering under lotus leaves, with inventing the design. A good story, though historians can't confirm it as fact rather than folklore. Chinese craftsmen also developed paper umbrellas treated to resist water, helping turn the parasol from a shade device into practical protection from rain. An early instance of a shade-to-shield transformation. Later umbrella traditions would each work out in their own way. Elsewhere, parasol traditions also appeared in Persia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, carrying a similar social signal. This person outranks you, or this person is being protected, not working. That signal came with a gender attached too. In several of these societies, personal parasols were associated with women and the wealthy, not ordinary men. The Romans, who borrowed the idea from the Greeks and called it the umbella, literally little shade, treated it largely as a woman's accessory, made from oiled leather rather than paper or silk. Then, for centuries, the object nearly disappears from the European record. Exactly why is harder to pin down than some confident single-cause explanations suggest. What is documented is where it resurfaces, not in a marketplace but in the church. A later Venetian tradition held that in 1177, Pope Alexander III granted Doge Sebastiano Ziani a ceremonial parasol to be used by him and his successors, a privilege associated with the Venetian state for centuries afterward. Through the 14th century, similar ceremonial parasols shaded popes, bishops, and doges across Italy. The umbrella's European comeback was a mark of religious and political rank, not a household object. The umbrella you'd actually recognize starts taking shape in early 18th century Paris. In 1710, a Paris merchant named Jean Marius received a 5-year royal privilege for a lightweight, foldable umbrella treated to repel water rather than just block sun. Before Marius, European umbrellas were fixed, awkward frames. His version could actually collapse and be carried, rather than carried for you. In 1712, the Princess Palatine praised the new design in a letter, and the folding umbrella soon became a fashionable object among wealthy French women. Waterproof and portable, for the first time this was recognizably close to the object in your closet today. By then, the umbrella was already known across the English Channel, but in England its social meaning was very different. An early satirical notice even mocked a man for borrowing one from a London coffee house to keep dry. What remained unusual was a man habitually carrying his own through the streets. In the early 1750s, an English merchant named Jonas Hanway returned from his travels and began carrying an umbrella through London streets. His own, not borrowed from a coffee house. At the time, it was still highly unusual for an Englishman to carry an umbrella habitually through the streets. An umbrella was understood as something French, something feminine, something beneath a serious Englishman who could either tolerate getting wet or afford a coach. Hanway didn't stop. Accounts from the period describe him being jeered at, having refuse thrown in his direction, and being taunted by hackney coach drivers in particular, men whose entire livelihood depended on Londoners having no better option than paying for a ride home in the rain. An umbrella-carrying pedestrian was, quite literally, competition. He kept carrying it anyway for years, walking the same streets, absorbing the same ridicule, treating the whole thing as beneath his attention. He wasn't the only man in London who ever owned an umbrella. but he became the visible, persistent example other men eventually pointed to when the stigma finally started to loosen. Enough that, for a time afterward, Londoners reportedly nicknamed umbrellas handways in his honor. The object itself still had a design problem left to solve. Through the 18th century and into the 19th, umbrella frames remained heavy and awkward, built from wood or whalebone, covered in oiled silk that tended to stick together and refuse to close once it got wet. In 1786, England issued its first patent connected to mass umbrella production, still built around those same whalebone ribs. The fix finally came from an unexpected direction: the steel industry. In the early 1850s, a Sheffield wire manufacturer named Samuel Fox developed a new umbrella frame built from lightweight, curved steel ribs, a design that became known as the Paragon frame. Some accounts say Fox built his first ribs from leftover steel originally meant for women's corset stays, simply because he had the material sitting around. Whether or not that detail is exactly right, what's certain is that his U-shaped steel rib helped displace the heavier whalebone construction that had dominated earlier umbrellas, and it became the basic engineering template still used in umbrella frames today. If you enjoy digging into the hidden history behind ordinary objects like this, it's worth sticking around and subscribing. There's usually a new one within the week. Steel solved strength and weight. The next problem was size. For decades, even a well-engineered umbrella remained a long, single-length object, carried rather than packed. By the late 1920s, German inventor Hans Haupt had spent years refining collapsible, telescoping umbrellas. In 1930, he filed the patent application later associated with the birth of the compact Knirps pocket umbrella. It's a small mechanical idea, a shaft that slides into itself. And that telescoping approach helped make the pocket-sized umbrella a practical everyday object. From there, mass production did the rest. Through the 20th century, cheaper manufacturing and new synthetic canopy materials like nylon turned the umbrella from an expensive, carefully maintained object into something practically disposable, sold on street corners for a few dollars whenever a storm catches you off guard. The stigma that once followed the object across countries and centuries left almost no trace on its final form. Nobody thinks twice today about a man carrying one. Nobody remembers Jonas Hanway walking through London rain while strangers threw rubbish at him for the simple act of staying dry, or a pope granting a doge the ceremonial right to stand under one. The umbrella by your door right now carries echoes of Chinese waterproof paper traditions. John Marius's folding design, Samuel Fox's lightweight steel frame, Hans Haupt's compact telescoping engineering, and the social change represented by Jonas Hanway simply refusing to stop carrying one.